Shall we begin?
Hi all, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. I'm very excited for today's video. This video has been, do the maths, 8 months in the making and hundreds of hours to get to this point. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk through all the games that I've completed thus far in 2020. I was originally going to do this at the end of the year and sort of look at all the games I've done in the year, but you know what it's like. Because of lockdown, I've got through a lot more games than I expected, and it would have been too long a video. I think I've got 17 games to go through today. So we're going to look through them. I'll give a quick thought. It's not going to be a review, but I'll give my thoughts on each game and whether I think that you should pick it up and give it a blast. Quick disclaimer before we start. When I say completed, I don't mean platinum trophy. I don't mean every collectible. I don't mean I played it again on Game Plus. That's not how I do it. I've got too many games to get through. Collectors, you know what it's like. I've got a backlog of games constantly weighing on my shoulders that need playing. So when I say completed, I mean I've played through the story. I think every game here would have been done on a normal difficulty setting, so sort of medium, normal, standard difficulty. I've played through it, and what's helped me do this video is at the start of the year I started logging it on my Instagram account. Now those of you that have got Instagram will know you can have like a story, but you can save your story into a folder. So I've just sort of been doing that, and I've got like, I take a photo of almost like the completion screen, so you know the thanks for playing screen or the last screen of the game. Take a photo of that, save it into my folder, so it's helped me keep a log of it. I've enjoyed doing that. It's also given me the impetus to finish games. You know, sometimes you run out of steam, but I think, nah, I'll get another game in the folder. So yeah, I'm on 17 thus far. Without further ado, let's crack on. So I've got it in order of how I've done it this year. And the first game I did way back when in January was Axial Verge. I did this on the Switch. I think it's out for all platforms. I think you get on the Wii U, not in PAL, but in America. Very good game. It's a Metroidvania game. I picked up this Multiverse edition, which has got like a poster, DVD. Really interesting actually, the DVD. I watched it, probably a Blu-ray. I think I'm a bit out of date with DVD. VHS tape. Basically, the guy made this on his own. One man made the whole game. Everything from top to bottom, music, sprites, the whole lot. So shout out to him. So it's quite interesting watch that was. And I think he's got a second one coming out now for, I think, the Nindies Direct. So there's a second one being worked on. Really good game. I started it last year. It was one of them that I put down, didn't finish, and it was weighing on my mind. So at the start of the year, I picked it back up, cracked on with it. Really enjoyed it, and this is a game I would recommend. Axial Verge, Metroidvania. If you like this bad boy here, definitely give this a shot. So that's the first game. What I'll probably do as well in the editing is insert those completed screenshots that I said that I've been keeping, almost as a proof. Right, so next, Link's Awakening. Now, I never played the original. Okay, as a kid I had a Game Boy, but I think I had like Tetris and a Bart Simpson game, Bart's Escape from Camp or something along them lines. So I wasn't an avid Game Boy player. I did enjoy this. A lot of people didn't like the artwork. That wasn't my problem with it. I felt it was a bit long for long's sake, if that makes sense. Like the game was fine, I enjoyed it, the dungeons and everything which you expect from Zelda games, but I didn't like the trekking. You know, to get from point A to point B, and you have to go to point D, C, E, F, G, Y, Z to get there. It got a bit tedious for me, I'll be honest. You know, I spent most of my time on this game backtracking and having to go through this woods and this door to get back to this point. And to be honest, I was happy when I'd done it. So it's not a game I'll revisit. I like what they did with it, but I'd be lying if I said I loved it. I'm sure a lot of people do, but there you go. Right, next, I've got an Xbox 360 kiosk. If you can hear any background noise, I've got a 2-year-old, and trying to find a quiet moment in this house is, if you've got a 2-year-old, you'll know. So if you hear any screaming, don't worry. It's just my 2-year-old being being a 2-year-old. Yes, I've got an Xbox 360 kiosk. Now, you know what it's like when you have something like that. Sometimes you sit there and you look at it and it gets used as a lamp more than a games console or a game station. So at the start of the year, I sort of had a kick on it. I thought, right, I'm going to use this more. Now you have to stand up. Now sometimes I like standing up gaming. My back's not great, and sometimes when I'm hunched over, you know, I feel it. So it's nice to stand up. But anyway, so I went with this Halo Combat Evolved. This is the first Halo game I've ever finished. I did not grow up as an Xbox guy. And it's just a classic game, isn't it? I mean, everyone knows Halo. You know, I consider myself to be a gamer, but you know, it's one of them ones you need on the CV, isn't it? So, yeah, Halo Combat Evolved. Played through it, enjoyed it. You know, it's remastered on the 360. In one of my previous pickups videos, I showed I've got the Halo Reach Collector's Edition, so I will be playing that hopefully by the end of the year as well. So yeah, good game. A little bit dated in places, you know, like with the driving and stuff, but overall, I enjoyed it. And I was still on my Xbox 360 kick straight after that. Bit of a random one, this. Need for Speed The Run. Now, I'd never played a Need for Speed game since, you know, like the big ones, the first, like Underground as a kid. You know, I loved it. You know, the music, pimping up the cars when Fast and Furious was, you know, in fashion and all that. But I heard another YouTuber, Radical Reggie, talk about this, say it's a hidden gem. And it is. I really enjoyed it. It plays like a story. Basically, you're a guy who's on the run from the mafia. You need to win this cross-country race from one side of the USA to another to get the money to pay off the mafia or something like that. So it's a series of races, but also there's people trying to kill you. And you know what? It's a great arcade, pick up and play game, perfect for standing up at a kiosk. Yeah, it's just a nice, easy game. It's cheap. I would recommend it. Need for Speed The Run. Right, next. Classic bit of Mega Drive. Hypestone Heist. Classic, right? And now I own this on the Super Nintendo as well. Can you see it? It's there. I'd already completed it on the Super Nintendo. Never played through it on the Mega Drive. You know, this game isn't cheap, so you spend all that money on getting a complete copy. You know, you best bloody play it. And that's what I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's slight differences, slight variations between the two games. I do miss that. I think they need that nowadays. You know, games that are cross-platform, PS4, Xbox One. It'd be nice if there was a slight variant to it, you know. Give you a reason to buy it on both consoles, or, you know, spot that debate again about which version's better. But yeah, the good old days of gaming, the 16-bit era. Really enjoyable game. Nothing more to say about that. If you haven't played it, play it. God, it's hot in here. Shout out to Tutti UK if you're watching. The Blast Furnace. If you haven't watched Tutti UK's videos, which I'm sure you have if you're watching mine, check him out. Does some great content. Right, next, bit left field this. PS4, Wolfenstein. This was one of my standard CEX pickups because it's a nice big cardboard box and it cost about £6. So I went with it, and then one night I just stuck it in, and I was determined to complete games at the start of the year that I just started playing. It's all right. It is what it is. It's a difficult one to explain. Like, it's Nazis, but monsters, not monsters, like robots. And yeah, I mean, it's not the best first-person shooter game I've ever played, but it was enjoyable enough. Would I recommend it? If you're a big FPS fan, give it a blast. Otherwise, you're not missing much. Right, we're getting through them. Right, I think I'm on a bit of a switch kick now. That's the other good thing about detailing the games you completed. You sort of see patterns in you know, your habits of gaming. Like I went through an Xbox 360 phase, and then I've gone for a bit of a Switch phase. And you know, you sort of look at it at the end of it and think, I've not completed any games on this console or that console, been neglecting it. You know, it gives you impetus to then go and play those games. So yeah, I recommend it. It's good fun. But yeah, next game was Shovel Knight. This was completely random. I walked into a Smith's Toys. I think I was probably there with my son doing the dad thing. But you know what it's like You go to these shops and you're looking at dinosaurs and bikes and whatever, but you have to have a little crafty look down the gaming aisle. And this was on offer. I think it was like 25 quid, which I think is a good price for this game. It holds its value. And there's all the different DLC, which I didn't do. I just did the standard game, played through it. Really good game, really enjoyed it. I think this is one of the first big sort of indie games that really blew up and helped pave the way for all the other indie games that are now out there. Just really good sprite-based platforming fun. You know, it really is. It's a throwback. It's great fun. It's challenging towards the end from what I remember. It seems like a while ago now when I played it. The missus kept asking, what are you playing? What are you playing? Is it that Spade guy? That Spade guy? So yeah, that Spade guy. I'd recommend it, definitely. I mean, it's out on so many different consoles. I've got it on the Wii U, but I've just never got around to playing it before. That's the beauty of the Switch. You know, having that versatility, playing in bed at night, whatever. Right, next game. Sadly, I don't have a physical copy of it. Now, I don't like buying digital, but this game was on the eShop on the Switch, really cheap, and the physical copy was like a limited run thing. It's really expensive. Now, I would like it, but I'm not paying 85 quid for it. So I've got a little piece of paper to show you. You see it? Blazing Chrome. What a game. Absolutely loved it. It's basically Contra, or as we call it, Probotector here in the UK. Just a great game. Like, if you haven't played Blazing Chrome, of all the games I'm going to show you today, I think, if you haven't played Blazing Chrome, go and play it. It's cheap. You can get it on the eShop. I'm sure you can get it on PS4 store, etc. It's so good. It really is. I completed this game twice. I did it on easy and medium. So this is the only game in this list that I replayed. You unlock different characters. I don't know why I keep looking at this piece of paper. It's not telling me much. Really good fun. And one day I will own the physical copy because it's that good. So, Blazing Chrome. If you've not tried it, try it. Say thank you in the comments because you'll love it. And the next one I don't own either, Journey. This was on PS3 originally, I think. But the reason I played through this is, I think at the height of lockdown, or when like went into lockdown initially, PlayStation 4 gave you like a gift. I think he gave you the Uncharted collection and Journey. And it's always a game I had my eye on. I know it was an easy, quick game to play through. And sometimes, you know, you just want games you can just play through in a night or in a few hours. I think we're missing that in modern gaming. You know, I don't always want to spend 30 to 100 hours playing the game. You know, I've got a job, I've got a child, I've got a missus. It's, you know, it's hard to find that time to dedicate to those sort of games. But I think I did this in about 3 or 4 hours. It's good fun. It is what it is. It's like a silent game. There's no dialogue. You just have to sort of solve puzzles, but it's all quite subtle. It flows. It's free, and I'd recommend it for free. Next, another Switch game, Mega Man 11. Now, let's start with the good thing about this game. I bought it in New York. I bought it cheap, and you know what it's like when you buy a game on a holiday. You've got an affinity to it straight away. I bought it in a GameStop in New York. A great holiday. That's all I can say about this game that I liked. Did not rate this game at all. I like the early Mega Man games. Shout out to Mega Man X, if you can see that. And I've got the Mega Man X collection on the Switch down there, and the Mega Man Legacy, I think. But this, just, it didn't hit the nail on the head for me. It was, I like what they do with the artwork, but Mega Man games need to be hard, right? That's the whole beauty of a Mega Man game. You want to complete it, you want to feel like you've achieved something. This, it holds your hand. It's like it's made for kids. And I'm sure there are ways to make this game harder, okay? I don't know if I'm the only person, but if you make a game easy, I'll take the easy route, yeah? If you give me every power-up going, I will use them and I will complete the game. But I don't want you to give them to me. Now, I know that's a bit of a dichotomy, if you will. But too easy. You know, by the time you got to the end boss, I've unlocked that many bloody power-ups, and like you can buy things with these coins, which seem never-ending. I've got that many coins. I feel like Scrooge McDuck. So, like for example, if you fall, you don't die because a bird will come and pick you up, and you buy X amount of them. So basically, you can't die from falling at this point. And and so on and so on. And I completed the game and I just thought, yeah. So, thumbs down, Mega Man 11. Good franchise, but didn't rate that one. Next one I don't own either. This is, you can't even read that, my writing's terrible. A Way Out. The reason I played this is it's a 2-player online or couch co-op game. During lockdown, didn't get out much. Gave my mate a call, Big Steph. Shout out to Big Steph, I know you're watching this video. And basically, you're 2 guys in prison. You both got your own story, and you have to sort of get your way out. Think Prison Break. But you have to play it 2-player. You need each other to get through it. You make decisions which can shape the game. And yeah, it was good fun. I think at that time, you know, locked down for a few weeks, any game that you play with your friend, I think we're all starved of seeing our friends. So playing it online with my mate via the headset, it was really good fun. I would definitely recommend it to you guys out there. So yeah, that's A Way Out. And I got that on the PlayStation Store for like 6-7 quid or something, which is why I've not got the physical here. Right, next. God of War, the first one. Now, I mean, look, I could pan this room and show you 100 different God of War things in here. I'm a massive God of War fan. I don't know if you saw my tattoo video lately. If you've not, check it out. It's called my first video game tattoo. It's not finished. I'm getting it finished this week. I don't need to say much more about how big of a God of War fan that I am. And I've never done the first few games. I've got into the series through God of War 3, and then I did Ascension, and then obviously I did the new game. And I sort of dabbled in the early games on the original consoles, like PlayStation 2, but I'm not going to lie, I struggle on the non-HD. It's just my eyes aren't built for it. So, you know, I played the remastered version, I played God of War 1. What a game. It's one of the best games. I mean, I'm biased because I love the everything about it, basically. The franchise is the word I was looking for. But yeah, God of War 1, if you haven't played it for some reason, just play this game, man. This is the version to have. I don't think this came out in the UK. It was quite pricey. It goes for like £20–25. And it's got French writing on it, so I can only assume it was some sort of French or Canadian release or something. This is God of War Saga. Now, this contains all 5 games. The one that came out in this country, they split it down. They made 2 versions. They made you buy 2 games. I think I've got them both because I do collect all God of War things. So they bought out one that had God of War 1 and 2, I believe. Maybe 1, 2, and 3. And then they bought out another one which had the 2 PSP games on it. But this one's got all 5 games. So it's got God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War Chains of Olympus, and Ghost of Sparta. So I mean, 5 of the best games. Well, certainly 3 of the best games ever made, in my opinion, in one little set. So definitely recommend that. Next, God of War 2. I went straight in. I went straight back in. I love God of War that much. I went straight in for number 2. Pieced together the story. I already knew the story, obviously, but it's nice to get all the little details as to exactly why he became who he became in the later games. God of War 2, probably better than the first one. Just perfection. I mean, in this genre of gaming, I miss it a little bit, to be honest. As much as God of War on the PS4 was an amazing game, of course it was. It was Game of the Year, rightfully so. What a game. That is one of the ones on my list I would like to revisit. And I'm actually close to a platinum on that. I miss that sort of fixed camera hack and slash God of War. It did it so well. And the thought of what they could do with maybe a spin-off series, keeping it that kind of, you know, fixed camera, the graphics they could do going into like the PS5. I understand it's never going to go back that way. Now it's evolved and times have changed. But if they could do some sort of spin-off series, I'd love that. Because I really love these games. And I think God of War 3 would be my favourite of the franchise. I mean, you kill everybody. I mean, it was almost too good a game, right? I mean, they didn't really have anywhere to go from that. I think that's why Ascension was a bit, you know, because God of War 3, they did everything in one game. So yeah, God of War 1 and God of War 2. Then, The Last of Us 2. No, I've not got the physical copy. You've seen it in a previous pickups video. I won it for 85p on a raffle. I sold it, I traded it in CX, of course I did. I'll pick it up down the line. Excuse me. Wet my whistle, because like everybody, I've got quite a lot to say about The Last of Us 2. So, I was playing through it, and I was loving it. I thought this game was brilliant. What a game. Best game I played in years. I don't know why there was all this sort of mixed reaction online, why it was such a polarising game. And then I got to the end. Now, if you haven't seen it, skip this a few minutes, but I just don't. They ruined it, right? I equate it to like Game of Thrones, because the first, 8 seasons or whatever was some of the best of all time. And that's what I felt like playing The Last of Us 2. It was like, wow, this game's amazing. But the end was shit. And it was so poor that it can't help but leave a bad taste in your mouth from all the other hours of gameplay that you enjoyed. There was a crescendo at one point, about 20 hours into the game, where it was like, right, they come to a head, the two sides, Abby and Ellie, boom, here we go. Kill them both, kill one of them, somebody's got to die, right? And then it's like they tacked on another 4 hours of gameplay at the end. I don't know why. Out of nowhere, oh, just move them somewhere else, put them in a different town and do a few more hours. It felt just like super glued on, like they needed a few more hours of gameplay for some reason. I don't understand why. Spoiler alert, I'm not a guy for a happy ending. I don't want everybody to sing and dance and walk away happy, which is why I enjoyed the Marvel series so much, you know, particularly after that film where, you know, Thanos had clicked his fingers and they're all gone, and you come out the cinema and everyone's buzzing, talking, oh my God, they're all dead. And then neither of them died. See, you've spent this whole 20-hour journey to get to a point where you're about to kill each other, and then they tack on another 4 hours, and now she decided after not killing her, this time she is going to kill her, and then you just say goodbye and neither of you die. I don't get it, right? Why have I spent 25 hours on this game and they're both still alive? What was the point? Just what was the point? Anyway, enough said about The Last of Us 2. If you haven't tried it, I definitely would. I would recommend it. I can't say I wouldn't, because the gameplay was so good. Just expect this shit ending. Right. Next, this was in my last pickups video. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Big fan of the franchise. Huge fan of the franchise, and I think this is the best one. And I recently picked up the Dreamcast, and I absolutely love everything about it. It's a bit of a cheat, because how do you really define completing a fighter? I haven't completed it on the hardest setting. I've not completed it with every character, but you know, I played through it. I flipping loved it. I beat Gil with Ken on like level 6. I think a couple up from the standard difficulty setting. This is a game I'll replay and replay and replay. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it should or shouldn't be on the list, but it is. It's my list. I'm putting it on there. So there you go. That's that one. Right, there's only a couple more left. Next one, Streets of Rage 4. This is a big collector's edition, still sealed. Now you're going to see this on my next pickups video, so I'm not going to go too much in depth into the contents of this, because I think my next video will probably be a pickups video. I've got a growing pile down there. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I've got a really good pickups video coming next week, I think. I played the CX lottery and I won. Got a nice Mega Drive game, quite a few other things, so definitely make sure you tune in for that next week. But yeah, Streets of Rage 4, listen, I think it's as good as it could have been. There's nothing they did wrong. I like the artwork, I like what they did with it. There was a lot of sort of nostalgia, a lot of nods to the early Streets of Rage games. It's everything it could have been. For me, beat 'em up games are somewhat dated now, you know. It's enjoyable, it's easy, it's pick up and play, but did I love it? No. Was it as good as it could have been? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes. Pick it up, give it a blast. I think I bought it for nostalgia purposes. If it wasn't Streets of Rage, if it was called Alleyways of Despair 4, I'd be like, meh. But I think it tunes into that sort of whole, you know, nostalgia. We all grew up playing the first couple of games in particular. Yeah, give it a blast if you haven't. Right, last one. Wow. So this is the 17th game. So where are we now? August, I've completed 17 games. So I'm quite happy with that. This, I was really happy with. SteamWorld Dig 2 on the Switch. This game is like People are giving it away. It costs nothing. Honestly, you'll get this poster for less than a tenner, unless it's gone up since I bought it. And it's such a really good fun game. And it's one of them games that, you know, I think it's like 8 to 10 hours long, and I love that. Like I said, I don't always want to play The Last of Us for 25 to 30 hours. Really enjoyed it. It reminds me somewhat of, remember Mario 2, the sort of sand levels where you have to dig, and you're digging through the sand and you're avoiding the enemies falling down. It's a bit like that. It's quite strategic. It's sort of, you have to dig your way through to get to certain points. And if you die, you lose some of the loot you collected, so you have to sort of keep in mind, are you going to go back to the surface and, you know, keep all the cash you've collected and stuff like that. But a great little game. If you definitely recommend it. You can do it in a day, you know. You got a day off work, smash it out. There you go. SteamWorld Dig 2, would recommend. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And by making it, I mean putting hundreds of hours into playing these games. That's what we're here for. I think sometimes as collectors, you can get weighed down in just collecting and putting games on the shelf. And I've done that myself before. I've made a real effort this year to get through some games and play them and finish them. Yeah, and tried new things. I've picked up some random games. Some of these games I didn't even know existed last year. So I just picked them up, started playing it. Give a game a chance. You know, you're not going to fall in love with every game after 2 hours. You know, give it a few hours. Tell yourself you're going to complete it, and sometimes along the way you will end up learning to love it. So yeah, I've had a good year of my games thus far. I'll be making another one of these videos by the end of the year. Please guys, if you haven't subscribed, do so. It really helps guys like me. I'm going to do a giveaway at 100 subscribers. As always, I really appreciate everybody that took time to watch the video. I appreciate it might be a bit of a long one today. So if you stuck around this far, this long, thank you. Next week I've got a really good pickups video coming, as I say. That'll be my third pickups video. Sort of rams home how much stuff I buy, how many pieces of plastic. I just hope my missus doesn't watch all these videos, to be honest, because yeah, that'll be an interesting conversation. I might have to stop telling you guys the prices I pay on things. I used to wonder why YouTubers didn't say how much they paid for stuff. Now I'm starting to get it. Maybe they'll get it in the ear from the missus. So. Anyway guys, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.